Good morning to the Honorable Ministers of the Council, members of the media, radio listeners via St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM, Tel TV Plus Channel 15, respective radio stations island-wide, and online viewers. I'm Rolika Roach, and welcome to the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. At this time, I would like to invite the Honorable Minister of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sport, Dr. Anders Rudolph Samuel, to address you. Minister Samuel, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Roach. Good morning to you, and good morning to CoM. Good morning, PM. Good morning to the persons who are here today. Mr. Civilian, you are here alone. Good morning to you. Good morning to the people of St. Martin. First, I would like to update that the works in regards to Orania School are progressing well. The contractors are moving along nicely. I have indicated before that the power supply was already upgraded, and all the air codes are also in. So as soon as the contractors are completed with the roof repairs, then we are also completed with all the cleanup in regards to mold, and then the school can go back into use in January. So I'm happy to be able to explain this to the people of St. Martin. Secondly, I am really, really happy to indicate that the Council of Ministers have also signed off on the special needs education policy. I want to tell the people of St. Martin that this is one of the biggest policies project in order to make it possible for all of those persons with children with exceptionalities. So now the children with exceptionalities, our special needs children, have their rights when it comes to being educated on St. Martin. I want to thank the ministry for the work that has been done, and I know that there are many who are claiming victory on the special needs policy. However, I know it is in the benefit of the people of St. Martin, and I am happy that this is now finished and we can move on to the next chapter. Also today in the news, we have seen that the 1% have been paid to the public school teachers, and their request and the clarity of whether or not it would be paid to the subsidized school boards. Well, this is an agreement that has been reached between the unions and the government, and such the payment is also for the subsidized school boards. As minister, I will indicate that the subsidized school boards can look within their budget, their personnel budget, and where there is space, they can make the payment. If there isn't space, then they can request the funds for this. And with that, I believe that all the teachers know that they are treated equally when it comes to the 1% that has been paid over the year of 2023. I have also taken note of a comment raised that some teachers are indicating that though they can return back to work on the 3rd of January, some of them are indicating that yes, why not the 8th? And they are making reference to other teachers in the Caribbean. But we don't need to go so far, because right here on the French side, school is still in. And the difference is that we have gone to vacation a week before them, and they will be on vacation a week later than us. So it isn't that the teachers are treated different on the Dutch side and the northern side. Everyone gets around 2 weeks of vacation for the Christmas. It just depends on when do you go out on vacation. So on the Dutch side, we gone on vacation now, and the French side will go on vacation a week later. and we will come in a week earlier than them. So with this, I would like to say Merry Christmas to everyone. I know we will have another chance to say Happy New Year after the Christmas. So for now, I would like to say Merry Christmas, a blessed Christmas, and I will see us back after the Christmas holidays. I am available for questions, so I will await these. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Samuel, for your opening remarks. At this time, I would like to invite the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, Sylvia Jacobs, to address you. Prime Minister Jacobs, you have the floor.
I didn't turn it on? Sorry. Good morning once again to you, Ralaika, the staff of CoM, my colleague minister, and of course, people of St. Martin. We do apologize for the late start, but it was difficult with traffic to get here, and we're very happy to still always be here to present information and updates from the government of St. Martin. As you know, the holiday season is upon us, and there's a palpable sense of Christmas in the air. It is time for reflection, for joy, for generosity. And as we celebrate the spirit of Christmas, let us not only keep it to this festive season, but ensure that it carries on throughout the rest of the year and into 2024. The essence of Christmas lies in giving, not just the presents that you go out and buy and wrap in festive paper, but the gift of kindness that can continue to be given for free, understanding which people need, and compassion. Putting yourself in the shoes of another and understanding their pain today would be one of the best gifts that you can give to someone. Let us embody this collective Yuletide spirit, not just during December, as I mentioned, but during the entire year as true Swaligans. In the spirit of unity and shared humanity, let us strive to make a positive impact, not just during the holidays, but in our day-to-day lives, so that we as community members can ensure that no one is actually left behind. During Christmas, it's a great time to look out for our most vulnerable. It's a season of love, goodwill, and lasting connections, and I wish each and every one a joyful, blessed, and fulfilling season, spending time with friends, with family, and seeking to help as many as you can. Of course, during this time, we highlight that the pains of loss are even sharper than before because it is a time of family. So for those who are facing challenges, personal loss and hardship, our heart goes out to you. And I ask the community to remember to have that is measured in the humanity that we show to others, the shared joy that we have, as well as challenging time. I do have an update from the Civil Registry Department, and I made sure to get the very latest updates. We are being bombarded with people, even though we had 2 weekends of walk-ins for ID cards, where one weekend we had over 200 and another over 250 persons coming to get their IDs renewed. I'm still getting the calls daily, and so in the discussions with the Civil Registry head, Mrs. Kathy Snyders, she is looking into the opportunity to be able to offer whether it's extra personnel during the regular days or in January, an opportunity for walk-ins again. So stay tuned. We will update as soon as possible for other opportunities, but do understand that the department is very much caught up at the moment with the preparations for the upcoming elections. And on that note, for those of the persons, we had over 3,000 persons who came to the building to pick up their voting cards during the phase 2. Currently, they're being delivered, but I want to remind persons that if by chance you have received voting cards for persons who have moved from that address, please bring them back or send them back to the Civil Registry so that they can be picked up in the early part of January. So once the post office has done their due diligence in delivering, any undelivered voting cards will be brought back to the Civil Registry Department for dissemination once again. And I'm asking individuals who did get the voting cards in their post boxes, but the persons on the card do not reside there, that you please send them back so that they be delivered here at the Civil Registry Department. And if by chance that still doesn't take place, the persons don't send them back, then there's always the opportunity to have that card reprinted up to and including the day of election. So let's try to avoid that as much as possible and look out for your cards that are being delivered as we speak. Of course, I'm happy to highlight that corporate governance stays very high on the agenda of this government, and as such, 4 of our ministers were able to graduate besides our Minister of Finance, so that brings us to 5 who have graduated with corporate governance certificates, the last cohort being done on Friday, December 8th. So I'm super proud of both myself and 3 other colleagues, Minister of Justice Anna Richardson, Minister Duran, and Minister Samuel, who all took part with me and our Secretary General in that corporate governance workshop, which helps us to understand our authorities, and it is the goal that we continue, and Minister Irian had already done it, so it is the goal that we continue, as well as offering it to our young professionals, to also offer it to sitting board members and any prospective members that would want to hold these functions, so that each is functioning as within their authorities and within the laws. Last week, I hosted an info session with the civil servants, also facilitated by Miss Crystal Horst, our company counselor, so the government counselor, who is also a new civil servant, bringing much ensuring good mental health practices and safety and security on the job. We also had visiting psychologist, Mrs. Alexandra van Luiken, who will be hosting wellness. We've taken it very, very seriously. We started with wellness activities such as sports and yoga energy transition, and the sports and yoga energy transition, and the course was given by the Netherlands Institute for Public Safety. So I want to congratulate Union, this Committee for Servants Union, this Committee for Civil Servants Union, CCSU, which represents all the unions that 26. So we did not do any retroactive before service, and if they are so fortunate, financial benefits, but there are also benefits in terms of working conditions also being regulated with the improvements in the function books that are being awaited. So I look at facing, we all have to look out for each other in the true St. Martin.
Good morning to you, Prime Minister. Permitted.
The first, they're now in the discussions with their employees as well as the public in terms of the way forward, and that is
Symposium held at the University of St. Martin. It was agreed upon that the
very preliminary overview of what the different subcommittees is doing. So each committee member literally has like a subcommittee carrying out studies, and I was able to take part at least in that first meeting where they share that information with the public at the USM, where community members, active persons within the community were able to bring forward suggestions. So they had different posters stuck around the room and sticky notes that ideas could be written on, and AXAR has taken that up. And the symposium last week, from what I understand, was a very successful one. I have not received any preliminary updates as yet, but I am just as excited as you, Stephen, to get that information so that we can move forward in addressing the reparations that are due to St. Martin in a manner in which it is beneficial to our development, seeing that we have been left behind in development after the colonizers left our shores, and the obligation they have to ensure that St. Martin is on par. So I'll couple that, you didn't ask that question, with so many out there talking about what can be done in government, what cannot be done in government. Everything is a process, and all decisions made in government must be based on research, on data, and to build the policy and the legislation. And so in this is no different. We must be able to ascertain what we're already doing, what is the Netherlands responsible to recover on this island, and though we have access to some funding in the Netherlands, we definitely want to go towards a complete debt cancellation and a discussion on how many funds would be available for us as a result of the reparations discussion. So I am with eager eyes awaiting the report that will be coming in January. And as soon as we have that, we will be sharing that information with the media, having presentations and the like, because what I'm hearing on the ground as well, in many ways, we have been disseminating information via CoM's page. We call out all the different social media handles. We share to all the media houses and have a press briefing every Wednesday. PM Talks is also not as often as it used to be, but quite often still bring out information, and still people are not in the know. So I really would like to get some feedback from the people of St. Martin in how do you want your information disseminated, because we're trying our best, and yet I'm still getting an impression that most people are not informed on what is going on, are not going to our website to get more information, and I encourage you to do so. So I wait to hear from you how we can improve communicating the works of government, the activities of government, and the services available to you so that we can give better service.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We now move on to the third round.
Prime Minister, the climate change conference in Dubai has ended. What was so obvious is the fact that St. Martin was not represented. Curacao had a representation in that of the Prime Minister. We saw Aruba being represented by the former Prime Minister, and St. Martin, he had taken into consideration Mike Eman represented Aruba. Taking into consideration the fact that St. Martin is so, impacted by various activities of the Atlantic Ocean in terms of hurricanes and what have you, why didn't you see it fit as the Prime Minister responsible for general affairs to at least be part of the COP conference in Dubai?
Okay, so indeed, in planning our year of travel and activities, COP, since I know what it is, but it's a climate conference that is held, and it was in both times. It was last year was in Egypt, this year in Dubai, and it is a very, very expensive trip. And the United Nations trip is also another very expensive trip. So it was one or the other for the government of St. Martin. Curacao did not opt to go to the United Nations, so they opted to go to COP. Aruba and St. Martin opted to go to the United Nations General Assembly, where the climate agenda is also very, very much highly discussed, and then the findings from that go on to the COP. Our ideas, our sentiments, our priorities as small island developing states were part of the Kingdom presentation. A youth of St. Martin was also able to be a representative. I've been trying for a long time, but of course the funding, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but unless you book 6 months in advance to go to COP, it costs anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a night for a hotel stay. The trip itself is quite expensive. So when I go to these international events, I cannot go alone. I go with support staff, which would be at least 2 to 3 other persons. So 4 times that amount on a daily basis was not within our budget for this year, but we will indeed be ensuring to increase our budget so that we can ensure St. Martin's representation, not just at one of these events, but at both. Because I've been able to validate my travel to United Nations and the value it brought to St. Martin, having all those meetings with other Caribbean entities, with international funding agencies, and being able to present St. Martin as a vulnerable, small island developing state. So it is key that we're there. However, since we knew we weren't going to be able to be there, we ensured that our priorities were part of the agenda. Last year, Mr. Rob Yetten, who's the Minister of Energy, really pushed it. After that, we had our conference in Aruba. And we are now basically as a kingdom really trying to see, and the Netherlands, how we can they can assist us, the smaller islands, to be able to get where we need to be, where climate change mitigation and adaptation is. And we now have access to funding for that based on these discussions. So even though we weren't there, our connection to the Netherlands makes it already very difficult to get financing from other countries. So we're there. Internationally, we will continue to grow that, and because now we're generating more funds in our budget, we will be able to make the trip next year, God's willing. And I hope to be there to do it.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Stephen, you have your final question.
Referring to climate change, Prime Minister, can you tell us as to what's taken place with the emergency alert system for St. Martin?
The early warning system is a project that we have ongoing. I haven't had an update lately, but trainings and research and whatever needs to happen, I think we were assessing the needs and doing some awareness. And then once we know exactly what we're doing, then we'll be receiving the funds to be able to purchase the necessary warning system. So we have a two-prong approach. Both parts will be funded, but right now we're busy with the assessment phase to see what works best for St. Martin. So I'll get an update and provide you with that as soon as possible. If not, next press briefing, you can ask the question again.
Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister Jacobs, and thank you, Stephen. This does bring us to the end of the live Council of Ministers press briefing. Stephen, any further questions can be sent to the Prime Minister's cabinet in writing. Honorable Prime Minister, member of the media, radio listeners, and online viewers, this brings us to the end of the live Council of Ministers press briefing for today, Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. For rebroadcast, tune into www.stmartingov.org, SXM Gov Radio via 107.9 FM, Tel TV Plus Channel 15, the official Facebook page of the Government of St. Martin, and YouTube channel Government of St. Martin. Government of St. Martin's YouTube channel. On behalf of the Department of Communication and the Government of St. Martin, I'm Rolika Roach and wishing everyone a safe and pleasant holiday season and a pleasant day further.